There's a lot of lies and misinformation when it comes to print on demand, and more specifically, what platform you should be selling on when it comes to print on demand. I have seen so many videos, people pushing Redbubble, people pushing Etsy, people pushing Shopify, and it's confusing, and I feel your pain. So in this video, I wanted to go over all the lies, the misinformation, and the elements that haven't been discussed when it comes to doing print on demand, specifically using Shopify. I made a post on our community asking everyone what they thought about Shopify, what they have learned, what they think, and when someone says the word to them, Shopify print on demand, what comes to their mind. And it was enlightening to see so many different people's reactions and responses, and that is what I'm going to be basing this video on. Plus, I'm also going to be basing this video on many hours of watching other YouTubers and seeing what hasn't been shared and what has been shared but potentially incorrectly. So the first misconception, I should say, is Shopify is expensive. It's really expensive. And the worst part about it being expensive is because it's such a complicated platform, you sign up and it can take months before you actually start seeing sales, which means you're paying for Shopify for months and months before seeing sales. Well, let me just clarify here. Shopify is $39 a month, or if you go for the yearly, $29 a month. Now, to put that into perspective, that is 2 sales. Just 2 sales, because we average around $15 to $17 profit margin per sale. So over the period of a month, 2 sales is not very difficult. It shouldn't be very difficult, especially if it's been set up right. So is Shopify expensive? Not really. I really don't think so. You know, if at the end of the day, $29 a month is going to really make a dent, then I just want to be honest here. Print on demand probably isn't the right business for you to go into at this point in time. I would suggest building up your earnings, building up your savings, building up your cash flow, doing a service-based job or going and finding freelance work or something like that, and build it up to a point where you're not really thinking so much about $29 a month for Shopify. Now, to answer the question of, well, it takes months and months to set up, you're throwing money away having a Shopify account. The way we teach it in the community and the way I strongly believe in how you should do it is you should be fully ready to go in terms of all the designs, the niche, everything should be on your Printify account. If you're using Printify, that's who we use. And you should be completely and utterly ready to launch. And then you sign up for Shopify. You follow very straightforward steps to create the website, which should take a few hours, maybe 3-4 hours, not even. We have a 55-minute video in the membership, and it just takes you through every single step. It's very straightforward. And after you've done that, because you've already added your products, you've got all your products ready to go, you could literally sign up for Shopify and be ready to start advertising that same day. So that's how I encourage people to do it. I think that's the best way to do it. It saves the most time and the most money. The next issue people were finding is there's no traffic. Unlike Amazon or Etsy, you don't have any visitors to your website. No one knows about you. And that is completely true. I can't deny that with Shopify, you're going to have to bring in your own traffic. Now, in my opinion, obviously this is my opinion, but in my opinion, the lack of traffic is made up for the full control of the business. And what do I mean by that? I mean, with Etsy, with Amazon, yes, you get tons of traffic, but you're also at a whim to the platform. You could get suspended, you could get shut down. With Amazon, you might not even get accepted to begin with. And you're kind of just building up their business whilst trying to survive whilst you do it, if that makes sense. With Shopify, yes, you need to bring in your own traffic, but it's your business. The traffic you are bringing in, you are getting those emails, you are getting those customers, you're getting that data. You are building a business that you can grow even more down the line. And to me, that is the best scenario. I mean, once you get to a point where you have tens of thousands of people on your email list in your store, that email list alone will be making a serious amount of money every single month. So there's a lot more upside here, but granted, it is obviously a little harder at the beginning. The third thing was it's too complex. It's too hard. I can't wrap my head around starting on Shopify. And I hear you. That's fair. It is a slightly more complicated platform than using Etsy. Amazon is something else because if you're just selling on merch on demand, it really is pretty straightforward. You upload a design and you leave it. You can run Amazon ads, but in the grand scheme of things, it's a very straightforward platform. Shopify is a more complicated platform. However, and I think this is the most important thing I'm going to say in this video. Shopify with print on demand is plannable. Etsy, Amazon, Redbubble, those are not plannable platforms. And what do I mean by that? What I mean is with Shopify print on demand, you are in control. So I'm going to create 100 designs. I'm going to advertise 100 designs. I'm going to do free and paid marketing for those 100 designs. And I'm going to fully test those designs to see if they get sales, what's popular, what's not popular, and what my next steps should be. It's very mathematical, right? Whereas with Etsy, Amazon, Redbubble, you're leaving a lot up to chance, a lot up to luck, I should say, because you upload 100 designs to Etsy. Let's say you're not running Etsy ads, you upload 100 designs to Etsy, I just have to kind of sit there and pray that the algorithm likes one of your designs enough to rank it high up enough so that it gets clicks. And if you create a whole bunch of designs and it doesn't get any sales, you'll start questioning yourself. Was the design bad? Was the SEO bad? What's going on? When in actual fact, it could just be that design wasn't ranking very well in the Etsy marketplace. And I don't like that. I want to be able to plan my future. I want to be able to plan my business. I want to be able to be more strategic in what I'm doing. So I know if I create 50 designs for my Shopify store, I'll create 50 ads, not with a huge budget, very simple 50 ads. I'll give every design the opportunity to be seen. And if ones get sales and ones don't get sales, that is all the indication that I need to know what to do next. And I think having that level of clarity over your business is so much more valuable than just throwing a bunch of, at the wall and hoping something sticks. The fourth misconception that came up was no one will trust a brand new Shopify store that has no reviews that they see advertised to them on Facebook. Well, two things. No one knows it's brand new, and yes, they will. I mean, it's hard to kind of to explain this point, but I started my store in February, middle of February. Well, I started in January, but I started advertising at the middle of February. We've done over $20,000 in sales since then. That is a serious amount of people buying our items when our store has a total of 3 reviews. 3. And one of the reviews came in yesterday. So our store has had a total of 2 reviews. For the first month and a half, it had no reviews. Yet we were still able to get over $20,000 in sales. Now, I know obviously that's not all profit. We work at a 20 to 30% profit margin, but I'm not talking about profit here. I'm just talking about the concept of, will people buy from a store that has no reviews and doesn't, I want to say it's a new store, but they won't know it's new. And the answer is simply put, yes, they very, very much will. Our conversion rates will go up drastically when we get reviews, but it doesn't mean that until we get reviews, we're not going to be getting any sales. The 5th misconception is marketing is really, really hard. In fact, it's way too hard to even bother attempting. Now, this isn't really a misconception because it's true. Marketing is hard. Shopify is hard. Print on demand is hard. Coming up with designs is hard. Etsy is hard. Amazon is hard. Business is hard. So you have to stop thinking that this is easy. I don't know why people think this is easy. I mean, okay, I do know why. There are YouTubers out there talking about how it's easy, how it's passive, all of this rubbish. Print on demand has to be treated like any other business. It doesn't even have to be a side hustle these days. Print on demand can be a full-time income. And there is absolutely no reason why full-time income should be easy. In what world is running a business easy? So yes, Facebook ads is slightly complicated. Is it difficult? I wouldn't say it's difficult. I'd say if you're following steps and you're following someone who's done it, it makes it a lot easier. If you're trying to figure it out yourself for the first time, then yes, it can be a lot harder. But at the end of the day, it's not that it just because it's difficult, it doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. That's where I'm trying to get at here. Something difficult doesn't mean I'm going to just not try, because the fact that it's difficult just shows that the potential of it being really rewarding is even greater. And I just don't think you should let something being difficult stop you. The sixth misconception is returns and customer service is a nightmare and something you don't want to have to deal with. Well, first, again, let me just say, you're building a business here. In what world does someone build a business and not want to have any interaction with a customer? You can't just sit back and let someone do everything for you, and if you do want that, then yes, go to Redbubble. Great, you'll make $150 to $200 a month, maybe if you're lucky, until you get suspended. I'm talking about someone who wants to make a serious income here. $5 grand, 10 grand, 50 grand, whatever. The sky's the limit. So yes, there will be an element of extra work like customer service. Now, is it difficult? No, I don't think it is. If you're living in the US and you have to handle returns, that is really, really easy because you're selling in the US, you're living in the US. When it comes to returns, you just tell your customer to ship it to you. No problem. If there's something wrong with the actual order, you can message, again, let's say you're using Printify, you can message Printify and you can show them an image and you'll get a refund. You can refund the customer, or you can send them a new item. Really, really straightforward. If you are living in a different country, like I'm living in the UK and I'm selling in the US, it becomes slightly more complicated. So in my instance, I've used a company called MyUS, which is a company where you're able to have a US shipping address. So whenever I get a refund, and it's only happened, I think, 4 times or 3 times. So again, really not very common. But whenever I get a refund, I say, please ship it to this address, which is like the MyUS address. And then when MyUS receive it, they ship it to me. And rather than the customer having to ship it to me, because that will be a bit weird if they're like, why are you in the UK and it's going to cost a fortune? Here, they ship it to MyUS and MyUS ship it to me. And it's much, much cheaper, much easier. And the customer doesn't really know where I'm based. That is how straightforward it is. This took me about 25 minutes to work out, to set up all of that, and it's really not a big deal. Now, in terms of general customer service, again, you'll get an email if someone has a problem and you respond to that email. It's that simple. It's this is not rocket science. If I had a customer, for example, that bought an item and then they saw that we had a promotion that day and they didn't take advantage of that promotion. So they emailed saying, look, I bought my item a few hours ago and I saw that you are having a promotion. Can I still, get that 15% off? And I was just like, yeah, sure, no problem. Go into Shopify, done, 15% refund. Then they've got their money. I emailed them back saying, yep, absolutely no problem. I've issued you a 15% refund to reflect the offer we currently have running. I hope you enjoy your t-shirt. And they responded being like, thank you so much. That's amazing. Great. And it was that easy. So it's not like I'm not sitting at my computer 24/7 answering phones and responding to emails, do customer service. It's really, really not like that. The 7th misconception was, I don't live in America, so I can't sell in America. Simply put, that's not true. I live in the UK, I sell in America. I don't have an LLC. I just have a company in the UK, a limited company, and I have absolutely no issues selling in America. It's fine. Number 8 is Shopify Print on Demand is too time consuming. Yes, setting up a business is time consuming. I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't want to spend any time doing something and you're just going to leave your life and your income and all of that up to chance, go and buy a bunch of lottery tickets every day. That will take you half an hour to walk to the shop and back, and maybe one day you'll get lucky and you'll win. That is what you are doing when you are uploading to places like Redbubble. You are leaving it up to chance, and yes, you're able to upload and sit back and kind of just see what happens, but there's not going to be much of a reward there. So yes, Shopify Print on Demand, or just Print on Demand, or bigger than that, building a business is hard work. It's a lot of work. It's time consuming, and it should be. And the 9th misconception is with Etsy, you can upload tons of designs and test tons of designs for very, very cheap. Whereas with Shopify, if you want to test 100 designs, it's going to be very expensive. So yes and no. Let me explain why. With Etsy, yes, you can upload 100 designs. It will cost you 20 cents per listing. Great. Are you fully giving those designs a fair test? I don't think so. Some will show up higher than others in the algorithm. And to me, that is not a controlled test. Now, on the flip side, with Shopify, yes, it's more expensive to test 100 items, but it's not what people are thinking. You can run a page post engagement ad, which is a PPE ad, on Facebook. For 100 designs, you can see which designs get the most likes, comments, and shares after a couple of days. And then you can see all the designs that had the most interaction, that got the most positive feedback. And then you can turn those into conversion ads. Conversion ads are ads where you're paying to get sales. To me, that seems a lot more straightforward and a lot more easy to understand than just blindly putting designs up on Etsy and seeing what gets traction. With Shopify, like I said, it does cost a little bit more, but you are paying for data, and that data will help you down the line when it comes to knowing how to scale and what new designs to make and what ads to make and everything else involved in this business. And the 10th and final misconception is with Redbubble, with Amazon, with TeePublic, with all of these platforms that certain YouTubers talk about, it's so straightforward because you don't even need to connect to a printing partner. You don't need to do any of that. And there's so many printing partners, I don't even know where to begin. Well, I'm going to tell you who we use. I'm going to tell you exactly what product we use, everything, and I'm going to explain to you why it's better. And not necessarily the one that we use is better, but just why being able to pick a printing partner is better. So at Redbubble, you can't pick a printing partner. It's Redbubble. And they'll charge you over $20, for a t-shirt. So if you sell a t-shirt for $22, you're making pennies. TeePublic, the same thing. Amazon, the same thing. They have their own integrated fulfillment centers. Whereas if you're using Printful, Printify, Gelato, again, we use Printify, then you are able to choose from lots of products. You're able to work with much better pricing, everything. So, for example, a standard t-shirt on Redbubble is something like $20 something. On Printify, we spend $7.77. The difference in price there is absolutely shocking. And it really makes me wonder because obviously $7.77, Printify, or we use SwiftPod, they still need to make a profit. So they're probably getting it even cheaper than that, which is fine. Everyone needs to make money at the end of the day. But if they're getting it cheaper than that and they're selling it to us for $7.77, with the Redbubble, who are selling it for $20+, they're probably getting it for even cheaper than SwiftPod, or maybe the similar price of SwiftPod. So how much are they making from you selling a t-shirt versus how much are you making from you selling a t-shirt? That's what blows my mind. So yes, we use Printful. So yes, we use Printify. We use SwiftPod. We sell the Gildan 64,000. We sell it in 5 colors: black, green, gray, pink, and blue. Those aren't the official names. The official names are like royal, military green, ice gray, light pink, and black. We sell it with a neck label. We have a product insert, and all of these costs added up together, it's still less than $9 per item. Now, of course, it does go up a tiny little bit as you go to a 2XL or 3XL or 4XL. However, you charge more for those on your end of site on your end, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, that is exactly who we use. I do recommend using them. They are going to be a long-term sponsor of this channel. They're not sponsoring individual videos. That's not how I'm doing it. But because I use them for my various businesses, I have just decided to become like a long-term partner of theirs. So full transparency here. I'm now like a long-term partner of theirs, but they're not like paying for individual videos. I'm just going to be talking about them because that's who I use in my print-on-demand businesses. So I thought that made the most sense. But yeah, it's that straightforward. So you don't have to worry. Like, it's not like it's more complicated to have to connect a printing partner. If you want to connect Printify to Etsy, it's a couple of buttons. If you want to connect Printify to Shopify, it's a couple of buttons. It's not like a complicated process. It's not as easy as just uploading to Amazon, fine, but it's also not a complicated process, and it shouldn't put you off selling on Shopify. So look, I'm sure there are a lot more misconceptions when it comes to Shopify. I'm sure there's a lot more things out there making you worried about going into Shopify. So do me a favor. Let me know in the comments down below any misconceptions that you could have, or not misconceptions, any thoughts and feelings that you could have about Shopify. And if you haven't already joined the free community, or the paid community for that matter, whatever floats your boat, then the link will be down in the description. Check them out. They're really, really cool. The free one has, over 1,800 people in it. and it's just doing great. And the paid one is a lot more focused. There's a lot less people, but it's a lot more one-to-one attention from me. I'm able to help you on a more individual basis actually set up your business. But both of them are really, really cool. So check them out in the link down below. And yeah, I hope you like this video. I just hope that I've been able to answer some people's questions and concerns when it comes to Shopify and print on demand.